fucking over. We saved it over.
Sorry, but fuck the Dodgers.
We getting 40 wins this year. Let's go.
It's really kind of hard to believe that the last time that the Sacramento Kings won 40 games in a season before coming into this one was the 05-06 season, where they go on to win 44. Though that Rick Adelman-led team will win 44 games, they would also go on to lose in the first round of the playoffs, but at least they were there. Since that infamous 44-win season, the Kings would go on to miss the playoffs every single year until this one. While there's still a solid amount of season left, this team is giving me every reason to pick up what they've been putting down. This Kings team is exciting.
He had an open look. Oh, turnover. Here comes Murray. Fox going up high. Kentucky to Kentucky connection.
This Kings team is also well coached.
Hey! Turn the jets on! Turn the jets on!
And most importantly, they're actually really good, especially when it matters most.
7 to shoot. Hard on Fox. Ooh, crossover. Fox goes, hangs and scores.
This season, the Sacramento Kings have been shocking the world, and we have to talk about how they've been doing it. But first, today's content is sponsored by our friends over at PrizePicks. Personally, I use PrizePicks to make games that I'm watching way more fun. PrizePicks is not only the best way to play daily fantasy, but it's also the easiest way to play daily fantasy in states like California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, and more. With PrizePicks, it's just you against the projections available. As you guys can see, you don't have to spend a ton to potentially win big. But remember guys, there's nothing wrong with celebrating those small victories also. To download PrizePicks, click the link in the description below and make sure to use code COOP when you sign up so that you could get your initial deposit instantly doubled. May 9th, Monte McNair and the Sacramento Kings will pull off one of the moves of the offseason, hiring former Golden State Warriors assistant Mike Brown. Let me tell you guys that I absolutely love this move the moment that it went down for the Sacramento Kings, simply because it made sense on so many basic levels. If you've been watching the Kings over the past few seasons, there are a few things that would be very clear. This team clearly lacked accountability, it lacked identity, and it also lacked the defense.
I mean, you can tell I'm a little frustrated. It's a great win. You take wins at this time of the year, but that's not how we should be playing basketball, what you guys saw tonight. I am not happy with our performance at all, except for the fact that we got the win. Somehow, some way, we have to be better throughout the course of the ball game. I'm going to put pressure on Domas and Foxy. They have to hold themselves to an elite level on every possession, but just as importantly, they got to open their mouths and hold their teammates to a high standard, because that ain't going to fly. Give the Knicks a lot of credit. Good ball club. Tibbs done a heck of a job with them. They're physical. They try to play the game the right way. You feel them throughout the course of the game. We're taking this win, but we got to be better. And it starts with Domas and Foxy. They got to open their mouths, and they got to challenge their teammates to perform each possession at an elite level. But they have to do it themselves on both ends of the floor.
This is some powerful stuff for one of the guys who has helped to change the culture for not only one of the NBA's most deserving, but also one of the NBA's most loyal fan bases. Mike Brown is a really refreshing coach, not just for the Sacramento Kings, but for the NBA in general. In today's game, it really does feel like there are a large group of coaches who fail to hold their stars accountable and simply don't care about defense or understand the complexities of coaching it. This has not been the case for Mike Brown. Now, of course, I can't give all of the credit to Mike, because at the end of the day, it does take a certain type of star to not only buy in, but also thrive with this style of coaching. Throughout Mike's career, he's sort of gained this reputation as a defensive mastermind. Coming into his first year as the Sacramento Kings head coach, he would never have a defense that finished worse than 14th in defensive rating, while also having defenses that have finished as high as 3rd in defensive rating. In 08-09, his defense would actually allow the least amount of points per game. Considering that he was a head coach for over 5 years and had various different rosters, that's not bad at all. When you look at his resume, you really do see some things that stand out on the defensive side of the basketball. Just go ahead and ask Warriors fans if they missed this guy after they won that championship last year. According to Frank Corticelli, the Kings haven't had a defense that finished better than 20th in defensive rating since the playoff drought that we've been talking about, which started all the way back in '06. When I say this, I feel like some people really don't understand how long ago 2006 was. Let me go ahead and refresh some of your memories by looking at the 2006 NBA draft. In 2006, LaMarcus Aldridge would go 2nd overall. Brandon Roy would go 6th. JJ Redick would go 11th. Do you guys remember Bargnani or Adam Morrison? They were in that draft. 2006 was a very long time ago, and that's still pretty weird to me, but it is what it is. Guys, imagine if somebody from the future told you that your team wouldn't make the playoffs for the next 15 plus years. This is a test for the comments. How would you handle that news? What's funny is that while Mike Brown has this reputation for being a defensive guru, and while the Kings have really been competing on that side of the ball, their defensive rating this season wouldn't reflect that at all. In fact, this season the Kings have a defensive rating of 116. Which would give them the 5th worst defensive rating in the league. According to Sac Film Room, the Kings give up the lowest percentage of wide open shots, the 9th lowest percentage of open shots, have the 5th highest frequency of forcing opponents into shots very late in the shot clock, and have the highest frequency of forcing opponents to take shots late in the shot clock. And yet their defensive rating is still the 5th worst in the entire league. This brings us to the question, why is the Kings defense bad despite having a good defensive coach, good fundamental principles, and good effort? Well, as good of a job as Mike Brown has done, the Kings just don't have the talent to completely dominate on the defensive side of the basketball. Now that's not saying that they won't get better, because they will. Law of averages is definitely a thing. For lack of a better way to put it, on occasion, they've been forcing teams to take some tough shots by the standards of the NBA, and these teams have been hitting them. While Sabonis has taken strides as a defender and his shortcomings have been overstated in the past, I would love to see this team add a big-time shot blocking big this offseason who can log decent minutes off of the bench. It'd really be cool to see what Mike Brown could do with a player like Mo Bamba. I know a lot of you guys are probably really tired of hearing this from me because I suggest shot blocking bigs for just about every team. Bigs who can shoot the ball and stretch the floor are among my favorite types of player. I've got nothing but love for guys like Kristaps Porzingis and Brook Lopez, and if these guys can move their feet, then I love them that much more. Despite the Kings having the 5th worst defensive rating this season, they've still managed to climb to as high as 2nd in the Western Conference this year, and that's in large part due to their fluid yet powerful offense. DeAaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis have this team playing at a historic level offensively. The 22-23 Kings have somehow found a way to grab a hold of the best offensive rating of all time. What Mike Brown has been doing in Sacramento is playing to the strength of his team and, more importantly, his stars, and it's been paying off in a big way. Another major factor for the Kings' success record-wise is the fact that DeAaron Fox has been unbelievable in the clutch. He has not been shying away from the moment at all.
Monk throws it away. OKK sends it in. And we're tied at 123. No timeouts here for the Kings. Fox, 2. Fox from midcourt. Got it! DeAaron Fox called game!
Down to 7. Guarded by Dosunmu. They open up the floor. Fox gonna go to work. Pulls up for the winner. Got it! D. Fox with some dynamite. Blown up the Bulls.
Guys, DeAaron Fox is a problem. Over his last 13 games, he's averaging 31.3 points, 6.1 assists, and 4.4 rebounds. Don't get me started on how good this guy has been in crucial moments. This season, DeAaron Fox has been one of, if not the most clutch player in the league. In the clutch, DeAaron Fox is shooting 54.2% and averaging 5.2 points. That's 0.8 points more than any player who has played over 2 games. For reference, in the clutch, Steph Curry is averaging 4.4 points, which isn't bad at all. It's better than the rest of the NBA except for DeAaron Fox. Watching Fox's game grow has been an absolute pleasure, and I couldn't be more proud of my boy. You see, the 6.3 assists that he's averaging probably doesn't wow you, and you don't think much of it with some of the ridiculous stat lines that all of these other players are posting. But the truth is, those 6.3 assists don't tell the true story, because my guy is a true point guard that can play make whenever he needs to and picks his spots effectively. You add that in with his mid-range game and his in-between game that keeps teams honest, and Fox is truly a nightmare for opposing defenses. We're talking about one of the most explosive guards in the game. Somebody who is a blur in transition and has a first step so fast that if you take one wrong step, he's already at the basket getting him or his teammates 2 points. A lot of people really trashed the Halliburton trade when it happened, but I feel like that trade and getting Domantas Sabonis has only helped to unlock DeAaron Fox and the rest of this Kings offense. You see, Sabonis has been one of the central hubs of the Kings offense. When the ball flows through him, good things happen. He's a fantastic pick and roll player, and he's more than capable of catching the ball anywhere on the floor and finding the open guy, or grabbing a rebound and simply going coast to coast. This season, he's averaging a career high in assists at 7.1, and when you see the way that his play instills confidence in his team, you'd understand why. There's a certain confidence that you move with when you know that if you get open, you're going to get the ball. The Kings have gotten the best of Sabonis in Sacramento, allowing him to play his true position, which is the center, and he's not the only one. We've seen players like Herter and Monk not only have great games scoring the ball, but show that they're players who are capable of doing much more than just putting the ball in the basket. While I'm here, shout out to that beautiful Sabonis and Monk connection. And also, shout out to Keegan Murray for coming into the league with disgusting range. Keegan Murray is 6'8", skilled, versatile, and legit having one of the best three-point shooting seasons by any rookie ever. The Kings shooters not only have them in the top 10 for three-pointers attempted per game, but also in the top 10 for three-point percentage, knocking down 37.1% of its attempts. Another major factor in the Kings' success has been health, as they have the least games missed due to injury. Hopefully that keeps up, and also hopefully this team continues to prove doubters wrong. Am I the only one that feels like Fox has been dunking way more this season? Those exclamation points are something else. Guys, let me know what you think of everything down in the comments below. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.